Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today on the road, out and about. I did a video like this similarly a few weeks ago, maybe even a month, where I showcased Aalborg Harbor. But today we have a pretty fitting beer to review in this place. This is Lindholm Høje, which is a Viking settlement. So this is one of the Viking settlements of northern Jutland. We're standing here right now amongst the burial mounds. So all these stones around us is Viking burial sites, actual graves. The round ones were for women, and the more oval ship-like looking ones were for men. So there's grave dating all the way back to the to the Stone Age and the Iron Age and up until the Viking Age. The most recent graves are from the Viking Age, which is where we are. But like due to apparently a lot of sandstorms, the Vikings decided to leave the place. And back in the early 1900s, people started excavating the area and found out about the place. And then in the 1950s, Lindholm Høje was completely excavated. And people found all these graves and built a museum where they could showcase some of the different artifacts they found. So this was both a trade hub and a farming area as well. Around it was small individual farms and kind of villages. And it was a high point with the fjord of northern Jutland, the Limfjord, was going around here. So it's a great place for trading routes as well. And even raiding ships would have sailed from here out to raid England, which is really cool. So just a very historic place. I thought it'd be interesting to film here. I got some layover shots that are hopefully fairly nice with some, there's apparently these sheep that walk around here are from like the same breed as from the Viking Age or something. But the beer I thought was really fitting. It's a beer I got from beerjum.com, so thanks a ton to Beerjum for the beer. This is by Jester over in the States, and this is the Jester Gotlandsdricka. Farmhouse ale brewed with smoked malt, juniper, and sweet gale. So Jester does a lot of farmhouse beers, and I really wanted to try this one day. I've actually had this beer bottle for a year in the fridge because I wanted to do something special with it, and I never thought of going here until like recently, which is super fitting. But they do these farmhouse style ales, and they try to recreate Gotlandsdricka, which is one of the ancient beer styles that people think the Vikings might have drunk. So it's got like an interesting story on the back, kind of like a Viking warrior-esque description. But they made it with their Hill County well water, beechwood smoked malt, smoked barley malt, rye, oak smoked wheat malt, and then hops, and then they use the juniper berries and sweet gale and farmhouse yeast and their native yeast and souring bacteria. So I think it's going to be sour as well. And Gotlandsdricka means drink of the good land, and as I said, it's what they thought the Vikings would drink. So this is inspired by an ancient beer style. I've actually had this beer before at CBC. They brought it a couple of times, but this is the Jester Gotlandsdricka poured in the glass, and it looks really nice. It's a nice kind of hazy dark orange color. Actually, maybe it's just my sunglasses. It's maybe not dark orange, but more like golden yellow. Maybe a little bit orange, but looks nice. It's got a nice little bit of a white head to it. Let's check out the aroma. It's gonna be a bit hard. It's super windy out here, but hey, we'll try. Oh yeah, it's smoky. Smoky and tart. Almost like, it's got that kind of beechwood, almost meaty smoke. And then like dry, kind of burnt campfire notes with a sharp, like lemony tartness. And the juniper is there too. It's almost got that like same aroma as like, almost like a sprucey juniper thing. Smells pretty cool. Like a light, almost like salinity to it. And then some slight sweet malt notes, but it smells pretty nice. And then almost like an oakiness, but maybe that's the oak smoked malt that's given us this woody oakiness, and it's like burnt wood, burnt like campfire kind of smoke, and it's because the beechwood smoked malt, you're getting a bit of that almost bacony, sausagey, weird aromas, but it smells pretty nice. I could imagine Vikings drinking like this, like because you didn't have control of fermentation, so it'd be a little bit sour, and use the smoked malt maybe to dry the malt themselves. Give it a taste. Cheers guys, and thanks a ton to Beerjum for the beer. Don't think you can get it on there anymore because I sat on this for so long, but let's try it. That's really refreshing this weather. And it's also only on 5.7%, so really really light farmhouse ale. Really drinkable. And it's not super sour, it's like a light sourness, and then with kind of like a funky thing. Like this Brettanomyces kind of dry, funky barnyardy thing. Like a nice not overdone smoke flavor. It's that combo of like kind of meaty smoke, but then also like oaky, woody, kind of campfire-like notes. And then like it's sharp tartness, like a lemony, kind of almost like white grape kind of tartness to it. And then the kind of woodsy, almost piney juniper flavor is there. I'm not really tasting the sweet gale, and I think sweet gale has mainly been meant for preserving beer back then, and also like a little bit of bitterness. It does have a light bitterness, but the most dominant flavor of the interesting ingredients are the smoked malts and the juniper. But this is a really good beer, and it's aged for a year now. The batch was from 2016, and it's actually aged pretty well over a year. It's brought forth a little bit more of a funk character to it. I really enjoy it. I don't think it's a mind-blowing sour or farmhouse ale, but it's really cool, and the setting also really improves on the experience because you're drinking a Viking style beer at Viking burial mounds. I think that's pretty cool, but I really enjoy it. So rating wise, for the Jester King Gotlandsdricka farmhouse ale brewed with smoked malt, juniper and sweet gale, so I'm thinking 93, 94. It's really nice, and it's different sour ale, but if you don't like smoke, I don't think you'll like this whatsoever, because even though the smoke isn't overdone, it's got a good kick of smokiness. So if you're not into smoky beers, or sour beers for that matter, you might not like it. But I could see that this might be something the Vikings would have drunk. You know, they couldn't, as I said earlier, they couldn't have controlled fermentation, so the beer might have been spoiled by wild bacteria. And, you know, maybe they'd use gale or juniper and stuff like that because hops weren't around. And then, you know, in order to like dry their malts, who knows, maybe they smoked it. I could imagine it would be similar to something like this, but I think they did some research on the style, of course, and I believe like the original Gotlandsdricka was also smoked. But interesting stuff. So if you guys get a chance to try the Jester King Gotlandsdricka, definitely check it out. Really worth your time for sure, especially if you're into trying ancient and historic beer styles. So if you had a chance to try, guys, let me know what you thought of it. Hop on to Beer Gym and check them out. I don't think they have any more, but who knows, maybe they have a few spare bottles. So if you had a chance to try it, guys, let me know what you thought of it. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'm gonna say cheers from the Dinholmhøje Viking burial mounds in Viking beer with an I'm on a moth t-shirt. And see you guys in another beer review.